Okay, so I'm happy to introduce our final marketing speaker for this evening, and that is Rose Robson. And Rose farms in Burlington County. And the first time I heard Rose speak was I was teaching an undergraduate class on farm management, and she gave like a very enthusiastic, inspiring presentation on marketing. So Rose, I'm glad you could join us for Annie's project.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Hi guys, really excited to speak with you. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. All right, so marketing is something that I'm super passionate about. So here we go. We're going to talk about on-farm marketing, and we're going to talk about farmers market, marketing and sales. So first, a little bit of background about what we do now versus what we have done in the past, and we've pretty much done it all. So what we grow, we grow peaches, apples, donut peaches, quince, pawpaws. You may have never heard of them. They are our nation's largest native fruit. We do cut flowers, and we do some vegetables. At one point, I did inherit 150 chickens, and I did have a pastured egg production, which was just like, one person can only do so much in life. But I did love the chickens, and they were lovely, but they were gifted to me. I gifted them on to one of my friends in Hillsborough who does pastured egg production. They have a guardian, livestock guardian dog and everything. The chickens are living their best life. So that was short-lived. And also I think from your standpoint, I think a lot of what you're going to go through is figuring out exactly what you don't want to do. I think that's like a huge part of life, right? Like we're always like, I want to figure out what I want to do, but I think there's so much value in figuring out what you don't want to do. So that's just my tidbit on that. So our primary focus is you pick orchard fruit, you pick cut flowers, and unique, hard to find fruits. So the quince and the pawpaws, especially, so the pawpaws from a marketing standpoint have always done well. They're super niche. They have a cult following. People that are into pawpaws find us. People drive from hours away. People come from Virginia, from like Long Island. It's like absolutely nuts that they then come to our like little tiny, super anticlimactic farm. But it's amazing and it's so exciting. But for a long time, we would take quince and donut peaches, for that matter, to the farmer's market, and we would take them, and every week we would bring them home and throw them out. So it took us a long time to get people to try it and to find our customers and to position those products the correct way. Now we cannot possibly have enough donut peaches. We're still finishing up a new orchard that we put in. We started it last year. We're finishing it up this year. So I ordered 90 more donut peach trees, which is nuts. People are like frenzied over them. And now quince, we finally found our people. And we did that by actually partnering with Reckless Town Distillery. So something that was mentioned earlier was partnering with different businesses. So we partnered with Reckless Town Distillery. They did a quince cocktail. They are the most wonderful, kind people. Highly recommend, go get a cocktail from them. And from there, the quince really started to take off. And this point, and this past year, we actually didn't even have any quince to give them for cocktails because we were completely picked out. Like people were coming from all over the place for quince. So fun story on that. So what we have done in the past is, like I said, pretty much everything. So we've done farmers market 7 days a week. We've done CSA. We've done home delivery. We did packed boxes. We did a market style CSA, which if you're interested in a CSA, packing boxes is one of the truly most miserable things on planet Earth, unless you like that. I don't. So a market CSA is a great option. So yeah, ton of stuff that we've done in the past. So this is something that I kind of started a while ago, picking one word, but I didn't really vocalize it to our customers. I didn't really vocalize it to our staff. It was just kind of one thing that I just always had in the back of my mind. And then I started to be more vocal about it, especially this past year, more so internally with our staff and with our marketing person and our branding person. So our word is cute. because I'm cute, so my business should be cute. Our farm stand is purple and it's so cute. And so this one word sort of guides everything that we do. If I go to post a social media post and I have to think twice about, is it cute? Is it, some people in their business, some people are really advocates and they're going to like really just, give you a lot of information and really go after like trolls and misinformation and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes that gets heavy. Or you have people that are, really into like high-end products and like value-added products, and that's like their thing. But us, really, it's just cute. We have a small farm and a small farm stand. So whenever I go to post anything, send an email, products that we stock in our farm stand, how we display our signage, like how we decorate inside our farm stand, anything, if it doesn't align with the word cute, it's gone. Our merchandise, even like our t-shirts and stuff. Yeah, if it's not cute, it's out. So I gave a few examples of some other farms in the area, and highly recommend all of these farms also have a you pick aspect to them. So Strawberry Hill, awesome. Classic would be their word. They are classic farm, beautiful white farmhouse, red buildings, classic farm. Johnson's Locust Hall, in beautiful infrastructure, super duper like old farm that they just renovated. It's stunning. They have really high-end products. You go there, it is a more expensive trip. That's totally fine. Luxury's their word. That is so aligned with what they have going on, and they should be charging at a luxury price point because that's their vibe, right? It's interesting. So Strawberry Hill, Johnson's, and us are within a very close radius of each other, a few miles. So it's funny how people that are going to Strawberry Hill, they're going for truly like you pick. He doesn't have any fruit picked. All he has is fruit. He has a few things in the farm stand like honey, jam, and I think canned tomatoes. But other than that, nothing. And he doesn't have any fruit picked at all. And then you have us that has some like fun value added products, cocktail mixers, some stuff in the farm stand. We have picked fruit, so you don't have to go out and pick. We have some vegetables. We have the you pick cut flowers. So we're in the middle, and we're also in the middle in price point. And then you have Johnson's, which is, every possible thing that you could want from a agritourism you pick farm experience, they have. So it's kind of funny. We get a lot of crossover. So people that go to Strawberry Hill will come to us, and people that go to Johnson's will come to us. However, I think it's a lot less likely that people from Johnson's would make the jump to Strawberry Hill, and that people from Strawberry Hill would make the jump to Johnson's, just because their price points aren't aligning, and their experience also is really far apart. So that's kind of a fun thing. And also, in thinking about your farm business, there is enough for everyone. There's enough to go around. And there's always enough to be a great neighbor and to always, think about the guy next door. All of us send people back and forth to each other like, hey, do you still have gala apples? I don't have any more. I'm going to send someone over. So I think that's a really important thing to keep in mind as well as you're moving forward in your business. Norris Hill Farm, they're in North Jersey. I would say family is huge for them. Their family is very is a focal point in a lot of their social media and their marketing. I think that's huge. They attract a ton of families. And then Windy Brow Farm, one of my great friends, Jake, he's amazing. He's their son. He does artisanal bread and ice cream. It's amazing. They have some really incredible coffee as well. And they have really cool apple varieties, kind of like us. They have a lot of like antique, harder to find, older apple varieties. So I would definitely put his word as gourmet. So just something to think about. That is your homework, is to think about your word, and no cheating, only one word. Okay. Next. All right. So the farmer's market. So I can't even see my screen because this thing's in the way, but all right. So one big thing, and I think this happens a lot, like, right, we're farmers, we're tired. Like we woke up early. It's hot out. Like we're exhausted. And sometimes I am super guilty of this. Like, I'm like, I didn't print out the signs. And I'm like, there comes a time where you're like, just sell it, just do it, you know. But we try to have coordinating signage that has our logo on it. So we make all of our signage in Canva. We've done a few different things over the years, but at this point, we're making all of our signage in Canva with the same font, same color palettes, sort of. We changed the color palette from peaches to apples. Pawpaw has their own color palette. Quince has their own color palette. But it's also, it's everything succinct from the farmer's market to the farm. And our signage also has a little bit of a call to action at the farmer's market. We see the farmer's market as a way to bring customers to our farm. That is the end goal. Not leaving the farm is the end goal. After years of loading the truck, unloading the truck, setting up, loading the truck, unloading the truck, it is so exhausting. And like now I'm old, but when I started, I was so young and I was like just throwing stuff up there and I felt great. Now I need a chiropractor. So, yeah, so that's that on that. So our signage is also a call to action. We have a blurb at the bottom of all of our farmers market signage that says, we also do like you pick, it says something about like, we also do you pick peaches, come join us Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, these hours, and our logo. And then at the farm, it just has like a blurb that says, thank you so much for visiting our farm, yada, yada, yada. Also, speaking of that, I'm just going to interject this. We're only open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's amazing. It is amazing. And it just goes to show you do not need to be open 7 days a week. You don't need to kill yourself. And you know, people will figure it out and people will come to the hours in which you have, is kind of my feeling. So yeah, you don't need to be open 7 days a week. So circling back. All right, simple table covering. So I know everyone's out there with like the red and white check tablecloths. I know it's really tempting, right? And fine, maybe if your word is like rustic or I don't know, rustic, fine. That's all I have right now, but fine. However, to me, the red check tablecloth just says backyard barbecue. It doesn't say we're here to make money. And like things that have all kinds of like patterns and tie-dye and tapestry and like all of that. It's actually like, there's been studies done that's actually distracting to the customer. And it's such a small detail, right? But I just literally want them to buy what's on my table. I want zero distractions. I don't want them to even think twice about the table covering. So we use black tablecloths. I think it really makes the produce pop on the tablecloths. And I know you're probably like, this is so insane that she's talking about tablecloths, but this is actually, it's important because, you know, when people are walking up from afar, you want this stuff that you have on your table to pop because, you know, at the farmer's market, you're probably not the only, like we are not, for example, the only person selling peaches. Everyone's selling peaches. We are the only people that grow them. It's a sticky subject, but the market does allow the other vendors to buy in peaches, which is totally fine. But we want them, we like to just like pop. Like, I don't want people to be like, what is that sitting on her table? And like be squinting. No, peaches on a black tablecloth. I've thought about doing the purple. That's our logo color, a purple tablecloth, but right now we have the black ones. They're fine. They're not ripped. So we're just going to keep rolling with that. Marketing materials. So a little bit of my background before. So I grew up on the farm. I'm 4th generation farmer. However, I did leave the farm for a hot minute and I was a pharmaceutical sales rep and a medical device sales rep. So especially with pharmaceuticals, like you were always leaving something. Like I would never leave a doctor's office without leaving something, whether it be a sample, a piece of marketing material. So I think that's why I have this like obsession with marketing material. So sometimes we do a good job of this and sometimes we don't do a great job of this, but I try to always have like a postcard that has a nice photograph on it. Get professional pictures taken of yourself. People buy from people they know, like, and trust. You are the face of your business. And if that makes you uncomfortable, we're in an age where like everything's in your face, right? So it's harder to be a little bit behind the camera anonymous than it was, you know, say when my parents were farming, right? Like No one knew what they looked like. They didn't have their picture anywhere. But now people really like to connect. So spend the few $100. I have a bunch of photographer friends. They do it for like 100, 200, $300. Get some professional pictures, put it on your marketing material. Tell a little blurb about your story. And then with that, you can do a few things. You can do a call to action, like come visit us at our farm. You can even do a promotion, like a give to get, like spend $20, get $2 off, something like that. And email sign up, which is huge. You should have a sheet for people to sign up to your email literally everywhere you go. Email collection is so important because social media is completely all over the place. They change the algorithm every 5 minutes. You don't own that. So like that could go away tomorrow. And with your email list, that's a list that you own. That's a list that you have. And people that are willing to sign up for your email list are the people that are going to buy from you, right? Like now we guard our email so closely. Like I don't give that to anyone ever, unless I'm really interested. So those are the people that are going to show up for you and actually buy the product. Like someone who follows you on Instagram, like who follows me on Instagram in like Iowa, that's nice. But are you going to come buy anything? I'm working on some value added things and I have a few ideas, but at this moment, I don't have anything to ship. So that's just my thoughts on email list. You're going to see email list come up again. So yeah, a big piece of marketing is education. And I think this is oftentimes missed. Like people are just kind of out there like throwing things out when really, if you educate your customer, that goes such a long way because that customer is going to educate other people and it's kind of a trickle down effect. So a few things that we have done is last year I did a scavenger hunt at the farm through the peach orchard and it was fun. So I had a few of my friends that have kids. I don't know a thing about kids. So I brought in professionals to help me with this. So we had signs throughout the orchard that had a different clue and a fact and sort of took you around the orchard and then had you end up by the You Pick flowers, which is like an add-on thing for us. So it worked out really well. It was really fun. At each station, they got a letter that spelled out a word at the bottom. And that's how we knew that they completed it. And then they would get like a small prize at the end. So that was just a fun thing. And so not only was it educating, but it was also making You Pick peaches a little bit more of an experience. I mean, for me, it's different, right? Like if I need to pick 70 boxes of peaches, like I'm going out there and I'm picking them. Whereas, someone that's coming to You Pick, they're kind of meandering, they're not like on a mission, which I forget sometimes. But I think it's important to try to cultivate an environment where people want to spend more time at your business. The longer they're there, the more likely they are to spend more money. So especially if you have like a really nice farm stand with like a lot of products. I don't have that. I have like a wagon. But it's purple, so all good. Or if you have like different, so we're kind of just doing like the You Pick peaches, the You Pick apples, the You Pick flowers. But if you have multiple things, like you have You Pick peaches and you have a petting zoo and you have a splash pad or something like that, you want to sort of be filtering people through those different activities and spending more time and more money. Also, the more time they spend, the more of an experience they're having, the more memory they're creating, the more likely they are to be taking pictures, tagging you in those pictures, and just sort of creating more of a conversation about their experience. So I just think that's really important. And a thing that we're working on this year, I'm meeting with our marketing. So I always have marketing ideas, but I always think this is another good thing. Like I have all these ideas, but I also think sometimes it's good to get an outside perspective. So one of the girls that has worked for us in the past, she had a big fancy job in New York City. quit her job in 2020, said, I'm not working in New York City anymore, came to work for us on the farm for 2 years. And then she had to go back to New York City and get a quote unquote real job again, because her parents were just like, what are you doing? So her and I are meeting on Friday to go over some things. I always think it's important to get an outside perspective, because sometimes you're so in the tunnel that you're missing things that are very obvious to other people that can really create a better experience. So we're working on some infographic things and some like handout takeaway kind of things about the farm as well. Farm stands purple. Yeah, I just wanted it to not be red, right? Because how many red farm barns are out there, right? So, and if you Google us, it'll pop up and it'll say, do you mean the purple farm stand? And that just makes me so proud. Value added products, we're sort of working on getting into that. We don't do any of that now. We get a bunch of stuff from fair.com, FAIRE.com, and it's all small producers all over the US. We do a lot of cocktail mixers and like teas. So everything during peach season is peach themed. Everything during apple season is apple themed. So we also do this cool thing to build our email list at the farm, a give to get. If you give your email list, you get this thing called a peach pass, and it gives you 10% off. Just the you pick, it gives you 10% off the you pick every time that you come, and it's good for apple season as well. And that gets like a ton of people to sign up for the email list. So just a fun thing, a gift to get. Another big thing we focused on is like having people feel like, you know, be our guest kind of thing. So we have scratch and sniff stickers for the kids, peach themed and apple themed. We have pens, which are all just complimentary small water bottles. If people are dying of thirst, they're going to leave. We don't want that. And then just kind, approachable staff. And then if something's not working, make an adjustment. So an example of this is the you pick flowers. So we've been doing that for a few years, and it was kind of just like there. We never got a lot of traction with it. In its defense, I didn't do a really great job of marketing it, and I just wasn't sure that I wanted to continue it. So last year we used to charge per stem. So last year I was like, this per stem thing is not working whatsoever. I was like, let's think about this. So I got these cups. They're bigger than a solo cup. We get them from the restaurant supply store, and we just charge people $10 a cup, which is pretty inexpensive, like definitely way too inexpensive. However, I just wanted it to be like an add-on, just one more thing, spend more time, create a more of an experience, tell your friends kind of situation. And holy cow, did it work? So one weekend we had, actually it was during the week, we had a group of ladies. So our farm backs up to the military base. We had a group of ladies come, they had a great time. They all picked flowers. And then that weekend we ran out of cups 3 times in these massive sleeves. One of the women had posted on her Facebook about it, and everyone that kept coming kept saying, oh, my neighbor put this on Facebook. Oh, my neighbor put this on Facebook. And so this woman started coming every week, and each week she was bringing a different friend with her. And I said, hey, I think it was you that posted that. I just want to say thank you so much. And she was like, oh my gosh. She's like, are you kidding? She's like, I'm obsessed. And not just her, but it became a thing where tons of people would come every single week to pick flowers again. And yeah, it's $10. That's nothing, but they're not just doing the flowers while they're there, right? Like they're buying other stuff and doing other stuff. So mission accomplished on that one. And that's it. I did it. Comments, questions, and thoughts, if you have any.
Actually, I have a quick question about the table coverings. I know you said black.
So wait, I just want to say, anytime I say that in a presentation, someone brings that up. That's like a hot topic.
I'm just wondering, like, black versus like a plain ass like white. Like, does the black make everything pop more? Is the white better for, like, you know, presenting things better? I don't know.
So I always think like a black background really makes things pop, because so I don't know what you're selling, but like what we're selling is super, like the peaches are super vibrant, and like the apples are like that red and the yellow and the green. So I think the black really makes it pop. Also, I cannot even fathom how dirty a white tablecloth would get. Like it just, like dirt is just everywhere. I can't even, like, even transporting it in the truck, it would be like destroyed. It would be the end. We'd be buying a new white tablecloth every week. But if you were doing like meat or something, maybe, I think with the red meat with like the white like label on it might be like really appealing when you're presenting the cuts to customers. Like that might be cool. And there's not like the dirt element. So I don't know, you could play around with that.
Mhm. Here we had a comment from Ashley in the chat. Tell me
you.
more about those 7 a.m. cocktails. Are you
Oh,
selling
yeah.
just the produce or any other part of those?
Okay, so the 7 a.m. cocktails, so goes to a few things. So first of all, I really enjoy a cocktail, and I mean, don't we all? So number one. Number two, I realized that I wasn't doing a very good job of showing myself and my personality, and I was like, ew, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't really want to do this, but I will do this. So it just kind of started out as like a funny thing and a joke. And it also started out as a way to support our neighbors and our friends at Reckless Town Distillery when their distillery first opened. So I just think it is, and it's not like I have a crazy big following, because I truly don't try and I don't like social media. That's why I'm such an advocate of the email list. But you know, they had just opened, and I think it's just so important to do what you can to support your neighbor in any way that you possibly can. So it was just a fun way to support our friends that started a new business and also promote some of our products, also have a little fun. And please, it's like the highlight of the staff's week. We drink at 7 a.m. It's just a great time. So it was like all around morale boosting. It was like an all around fun thing.
Okay. And we had one more question from Meg. How honest is too honest when you're presenting yourself on social media?
So that has to do with you and your words. So I am often tempted, right? Because farming is freaking hard, right? It's hard. And a lot of times it's like heartbreaking and sad. And you're like, I was about to use the F word, but I'll refrain. You're like, like, so like last spring, for example, a good example. So we lost about 60% of our peach crop and about 50% of our apple crop because of a frost. And I just don't think the general public has any freaking clue about, like, you can do everything right in farming. You can market, you can have a great product, you can be such a talented grower, and you can lose everything in one cold night. Like, I just don't think that registers to people. And I was very tempted to talk about that. And then I was like, is that cute? No. And that is just a stance that I've taken. I don't think there's anything wrong at all with being honest. And a lot of people really are, but that's their direction. Not to say that we wouldn't veer that way, but that just doesn't align with what the direction that we're going. So that's just not something that I tackle. Also, that sort of comes from my background in sales. Like, we were always taught, like, never, ever, 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 like, no matter what, you're going to say that you're fantastic and that you had a great day, because people have their own problems, right? So they don't, honestly, no one wants to hear about your problems. Truly, they don't, right? Like, do we want to hear about other people's problems? Like, personally, no, not really. Like, I have my own problems. I lost 60% of my peach crop, right? Like, how am I paying my bills? So that's personally why I don't. But I do think advocating, educating is important. We do that more one-on-one at the farm. Like, we say, oh, you know, we lost 60% of the crop. Like, if someone's complaining there aren't a lot of peaches, we'll educate there personally, not out on the internet. So that's just your comfort level.
Thank you very much, Rose.
Thank you. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.